And good morning, and welcome to another live stream. Today I'm going to cover two letters I've gotten. Um, First one's going to be from the IAC. As everyone knows, I wrote a letter of complaint to Bill Shorten. He once again fobbed it off to the IAC, and it's taken them quite a while to get a response back. And the other letter is from the Minister of Transport in New South Wales. After the first letter, I sent a second letter. I wasn't happy with their original response. I thought it was quite poorly written, um, did nothing. But this second letter is a bit better. Um, but going back to the letter from the IAC, I'll just get Chris to post that, put that up. And also for people who are blind or vision impaired who can't read the document, I'll just get Chris to read that out. Can you read that out, please, Chris?
Hi Jeff, thank you for your email addressed to the Principal Member of the Independent Advisory Council IAC regarding your concern about a member of the IAC using social media inappropriately. We, the Secretariat of the IAC, appreciate you bringing this matter to our attention. We have forwarded your email to the Principal Member of the IAC, who has asked that we reply to you about this. Please note the IAC is committed to upholding the highest standards of professionalism and integrity, especially our interaction with the NDIS community, including participants, supports worked, and other stakeholders. We take concerns about inappropriate or derogatory material very seriously. We understand that you have previously raised your concerns with the Minister for the NDIS, as we acknowledge the importance of addressing your concerns promptly and respectfully. Please be assured that we have reviewed and ensured that this matter was handled appropriately. The Principal Member has followed the appropriate procedures to address your concerns. This includes a review and coaching on IAC member confidentiality agreements, deed poll, and NDIA social media policy. Due to privacy consideration and the nature of our internal process, we may not be able to provide specific details about the actions taken, but we'd point out that all IAC members have regular meetings with the Principal Member as part of their advisory work and professional development with the IAC. We'd like to highlight that IAC members also have other roles within the community outside of the IAC because of multifaceted nature of their advocacy work experience and career. Because of this, the Principal Member can only guide members on the use of social media related to their role on the IAC. I hope that this information has helped you understand the process the IAC takes about members' use of social media for their advisory work for the Advisory Council. Thank you again for your feedback and your engagement about the NDIS. Kind regards, IAC Secretariat. NDIA.
So there you go. That was a response that's taken months to get. And what's happened? Nothing. As I knew what was going to happen, I stated before, nothing will happen. What this person has done, portraying people with disabilities in the way he has done, and support workers as well, that was so egregious and so derogatory, but he got away with it. He got away with it. He's allowed to have social media. He's allowed to comment on social media. Yes, as an individual. But when he puts up GAICD, PhD, independent chair of the EAC, member of the IAC as part of his profile, and in my opinion, he's acting in his role of those organisations. But he's not being held accountable. He can say and do whatever he wants, and the IAC is not going to do a damn thing. And why? Why won't they do a damn thing? Because the IAC is not independent. They're appointed by Bill Shorten. None of them until today has ever tried to contact me and talk to me about issues that I've raised in the past. Only today has one person done it, and I don't trust this person. I will not correspond with him directly. I do not trust him. In my opinion, he's untruthful. In my opinion, he scaremongers, alarms people to push his own personal agenda. That's my opinion. And if you don't believe me, just go into the LinkedIn and start reading it on your own. Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. These are just my opinions. But how can they be our representatives when none of the damn people on the IAC will talk to you? I've reached out to numerous members of the IAC. Not one has responded in over a year. Only just today, after I've lodged numerous complaints to different organisations. It's not good enough. The Independent Advisory Council is in the hip pocket of Bill Shorten, in my opinion, because they're all appointed by Bill Shorten. There's one person on the IAC whom I interviewed late last year in her role as part of the Justice Advocacy Service for people with cognitive impairments. She was so knowledgeable, articulate, passionate about what she does. She's the only person I would keep on that IAC. I would get rid of the rest because they've never reached out to anyone unless it's to their benefit, in my opinion. Giving people heads up on roles that are coming up, jobs that are coming up. It's not good enough. Why can't we elect our own representatives to the IAC to provide information? Provide information back to the NDIA and Bill Shorten so that these people can reach out to those people who they represent and talk to them. Read their posts on social media, join Facebook, read their chats in there, their feeds in there. There's so many things wrong that these people should be doing to help, but they don't. They don't reach out to anyone. I've never heard one person, not one participant of the NDIS, a person with a disability, say someone from the IAC's reached out and helped. Not one person. And I've read thousands of comments. What the hell are these people doing? Is it true that Bill Shorten's put a gag order on them? I don't know. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I've mentioned before that under half of the NDIA board and IAC members are part of the AICD, Australian Institute of Company Directors. They're either graduates of the AICD or members of the AICD. And I went in there, my support worker and I went in there a week or so ago, and all that information's been taken down, all but one or two people. Why? Is it because that I've raised the issue and pointed out that this could be a little boys' club? Now, the AICD charges thousands of dollars to do a course that has no connection with any TAFE or any universities that I could find. So they're not truly accredited. Now, if this is true, why are people joining it? Is it a boys' club? In my opinion, I believe it is. But why can't we, as people with disabilities, participants in the NGOs, why can't we elect our own representatives to the IAC? Why do they have to be appointed by Bill Shorten? Or, not just by Bill Shorten, but the previous minister of the NDIS. It's not just the Labor Party thing, it's been that the coalition's done the same thing too. But I'm dropping on Bill Shorten's lap because he's the current minister. Don't get rid of the IAC, just have it so people on the NDIS, people with disabilities, can elect people who are going to represent them, truly represent them, give them a voice. Because the IAC and the NDIA board are closed off. I've sent out numerous requests for interviews, even to talk to IAC members and members of the NDIA board, and I've had not one response, not one, until today, after my numerous complaints to different organisations. They're closed off. They're not our representatives. They're truly not. How are they helping us? Because they have roles in other organisations? Big whoop. I've been on so many different committees over the last 25 years. I've learned a little bit about governance and risk management and policies and procedures, creating a policies and procedures manual. I've had experience in it all. And that's why I started this channel, is to help people. And I've helped a few people. I'd like to help a lot more. At least I'm making the effort to reach out to people, to be heard, and to try and help people. Yeah, I always say, if you want to contact me with an issue, my email is blindadvocate007@gmail.com. I always do it, every stream. But what do we hear from the NDIA board and the IAC? Nothing. Not one damn thing. Get off your butts and do something. Go out there and talk to people. Instead of putting things on social media and whipping up a frenzy and sitting back and watching it all implode or push your own agenda. People can have their own views and opinions. I accept that. But when you hold a position of authority on the IAC, the EAC, state government accessibility. What you say and what you do carries weight. And what you don't do and don't say carries weight as well. Shame on the IAC. Shame on the chair of the IAC. Shame on Bill Shorten. Let's fix it. Let's have our own representatives that we elect to those positions so they can reach out to us and talk to us, hear us, get the feedback and provide it to the NDIA board and Bill Shorten. Now, some of the things that have come out in the reforms with the NDIA, I agree with. Some I don't. You can put submissions in, but they only give you a week and a half to write a submission. It's not long enough. We should have a couple of months to make a submission because we need to organise. Some of us need to organise support workers to help us write it out and submit it. A week and a half, nowhere near enough. 2, 3 months, yes. Anyway, look, if there's anyone out there who's listening to this who believes that the IAC members should be elected by participants of the NDIS, people with disabilities, so that they can represent us, reach out to us, come and talk to us, phone us, contact us through social media or email, be our true representatives. If you believe that this is what should happen, please send me an email, contact me through LinkedIn. It's so important. We're not being heard. The governing bodies are shut off, are closed off from those people who they're supposed to represent, and it's not good enough. No wonder the NDIS is the way it is. It's like when I talk to people about how these organisations get their information. They get it from people with disabilities. We know what we need. We know what we don't want. We know what we do and don't like. It's just shameful. It truly is shameful that the IAC and the NDIA board are so closed off. And if it is true that Bill Shorten's got a gag order on them, he should lift it. Anyway, I did a stream a couple of weeks ago where I wrote a letter to the New South Wales Minister of Transport about ModTaz. It's an accessible ramp that allows people with disabilities to get on and off the train by themselves. And this ramp, this ModTaz, it works using sensors, so the train doesn't pull up exactly the same spot. These sensors pick up where the train door is, and it can extend along the platform, then extend out to the train and lift up and meet the door. Now, the first letter I got, from the New South Wales Minister of Transport was terrible. It was shocking. Absolutely, I was so disgusted. I actually wrote a second letter to saying that there's no complaints about, or very few complaints about, accessibility in train platforms, public transport in New South Wales, is because people with disabilities know they can't use it. So they don't complain about it because they don't use it. And I pointed out a few other things which they've responded to in this second letter, which Chris is going to put up again shortly. And I'll get him to read it out. And this second letter, someone's actually put some thought and effort into it and provided some great feedback. Can you just read that out, please, Chris?
Okay, from Marjorie O'Neill, MP, Parliamentary Secretary for Transport. Dear Mr. Parker, thank you for your further correspondence to the Minister for Transport regarding the Modular Transport Access Solutions ModTAS. I'm responding to you as the Parliamentary Secretary for Transport. I understand providing public transport access to vulnerable passengers is an important issue and appreciate your ongoing advocacy and concerns. As advised in my letter late 11 July 2024, the New South Wales Government is committed to making public transport safe, inclusive and easy to use for all passengers, especially people with disability, and Transport for New South Wales is open to considering a range of technologies and solutions to achieve this. The 2023-2024 New South Wales budget allocated a total of $800.7 billion over 4 years to the Safe Accessible Transport program, which will be used to upgrade the stations to wharves and wharves to achieve disability standards for accessible public transport, DSAPT compliance. Transport for New South Wales staff are fully trained to assist persons with a disability boarding and alighting transport, and there is also help points on platforms linked to trained operators who can coordinate assistance if staff cannot be readily found or the station is unattended. I note your comment that some persons with a disability avoid using public transport. For New South Wales offers products to assist eligible passengers, such as the Taxi Transport Subsidy Scheme, the TTSS, which provides support for New South Wales residents who are unable to use public transport because of a disability. The subsidy covers 50% of the total fare with a maximum subsidy of $60 per journey. Visit, and there's a link, which is, do you want me to read out the link, Jeff?
No, just...
Yep. Community transport is another service provided for those with accessible needs. Visit, and there's the link for that one. Additionally, the New South Wales Government encourages the best ideas and solutions, as well as participation in projects from the private sector through the unsolicited proposals process. The Guide for Submission and Assessment of Unsolicited Proposals outlines a transparent and streamlined approach. For more information, I encourage you to visit New South Wales gov.au/unsolicited-proposals. Additionally, the ModTAS team are welcome to submit a response to any future tenders. Thank you again for taking the time to write. Sincerely, Marjorie O'Neill, MP, Parliamentary Secretary for Transport.
Okay, so we've put that up so people can read themselves. That letter's a bit more informative. $800 million for upgrades is a great start. But this is one thing that I keep mentioning, that people keep referring to the Australian standards. Now, the Australian standards, they're not best practice. Australian standards are not best practice. Australian standards are the absolute barest minimum requirements that the government or any organisation needs to follow. The barest minimum, not best practice, not something that's going to work for the next 20, 30, 40 years. I mean, I know there's the Australian standards for elevators. Last time I checked, it hasn't been updated since 2007. So, Australian standards, which is good to have because it's the barest minimum that people need to do, that's great. But what the governments and private enterprises need to be doing is looking forward to the future. You know, 40 years ago, there was push chairs. Electric wheelchairs were a lot smaller, quite a bit lighter, not as good as they are now. But now we have mobility scooters, not just electric wheelchairs, but mobility scooters for people who have ambulatory disabilities or aged people who are older. They've come onto the market in the last 20 years, and every couple of years they seem to get longer and wider and can carry more weight, and they have bigger batteries. So quite often those mobility scooters are compatible with Australian standards because they're a lot bigger and a lot better than now when the Australian standards came out. The other thing they mentioned was the TTS, the Taxi Transport Subsidy Scheme. Now, I've used this for the last 25, 30 years. And where I live, it's about 2 kilometres from my house to the CBD. One way is nearly $20. Return trip over 30, and I've got to pay $15, which is good. I'm not complaining that it's 50% is nothing to sneeze at. It's great. But if you've got to make a trip every day of the week, sometimes a couple of times a day, then it starts to hit the hip pocket, and it's very expensive, very, very expensive. And $60 doesn't get you far as it used to. Now, I know there's some places in Sydney where stations aren't accessible, so they organise taxis. And I think the transport picks up that fee. And a lot of the community transport, a lot of them are gone now because of the NDIS, community transport. I know where I live, it's been scaled way back to what it used to be. And it's mainly used by people, in aged care. Because people with disabilities on the NDIS, they can get support workers to drive them. But Robbie from ModTaz, if you're listening to this, keep pushing New South Wales. And if I can help, I will. I'll back you up. Because that system that you're developing is fantastic. It truly is. I think it's worthwhile, the state government investing in it. Maybe get part ownership of it. because if this works as good as it sounds like it's going to, it could go worldwide. You know, Australians, we have a great thing for inventions. Now, we invented Wi-Fi, ultrasound, the black box flight recorders. Now, we've made a huge contribution to the world stage as far as inventions. And ModTaz is just another one of them. But because it's for people with disabilities, it's not getting the recognition it should do. But anyway, at least this second letter provides more information. I mean, $800 million is a lot of money. And it's probably going to cost 10 times that to upgrade everything to make it fully accessible. It's a start. But anyway, I just want to go back to the IAC just before I finish up for today. I'm angry. I am really, really angry and disappointed and frustrated. Not surprised, but I'm angry. Not just for me, but for every person with a disability who's on the NDIS who can't reach out to their representatives and get a response. An independent advisory council should be independent. Let's vote our own people in that's going to truly represent us. Let's do it. Let's all pull together and work towards it. Make this part of the reform. Now the government's and the rest of the community is saying that there's too much money's going into the NDIS, and it needs reforms. So let's get our representatives, our true representatives, people who we elect to represent us, who are going to come out and talk to us and listen to us and help us if we need some advice or feedback. Let's make the IAC part of the reform, make it so all those positions are elected by participants of the NDIA. So it's not the same old people getting the same old job. You know, a lot of these people on the IAC, not all of them, but a lot of them, they're all interconnected through different organisations that they belong to. Not just with the AICD, but different disability organisations. And it's the same people all the time in these positions. If they're not going to be elected, let's rotate it. Let them have one, maybe 2 terms, then they're off for good. Let them have 1 or 2 terms on the IAC and the NDIA board, then they're off. We need younger people to start stepping up and speaking up and helping others. Like I'm 60 years old. I've got health issues. I'm limited to what I can do. But younger people who are a lot fitter, they need to step up. Don't be complacent and expect it's all going to fall in your lap. Because I grew up in, like I said, I'm 60. I grew up in the 70s. Welfare was not that common. It's not like it is now. I remember when Medicare first came out, you could walk into any doctors at any time, see any doctor that you want, whether it's a world-renowned surgeon and specialist or your local GP, and you wouldn't pay a cent. You'd walk in, see the doctor of your choice, walk out with a prescription, and off you go to the chemist. It's not like that anymore. Things change. And we've got to change with it. We need the younger people to step up. I say to my kids, one's a nurse and the other one's still at university. The world doesn't owe you squat, is what I tell my kids. You've got to find your own way in the world. You've got to make your own mark. You've got to work for yourself. My kids started working when they were 16. Sorry, that's just my doorbell. But my kids started working when they were 16. And there's a lot of kids out there doing the same thing. And I pushed them out to work, start a job at 16 because the world doesn't know them squat. They have to get out and earn things. They have to make the world the way they need it to be. So let's just work together, make the NDIS better, make the IAC and the NDIA board more accessible. Look, I want you to email me. It's blindadvocate007@gmail.com. If you need my help or you want some information or you want to raise an issue, whatever it is, please contact me. I'll do what I can to help. I think it's probably about it for today, Chris. Once again, look, I ask everyone to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Blind Advocate. Once I get a certain amount of subscribers and a certain amount of watch hours, then I can start getting paid for doing these live streams, because at the moment I'm paying for this myself. And being on a limited income, I'm finding it extremely hard. I'm not asking for money. Not asking for money. Only asking you to hit that subscribe button, to hit the notifications bell, put in a comment whether you like the topics or not, whether you like me or not, I don't care. All this sort of feedback helps this channel to grow. So I need your help that way. So I might end it there, Chris, if there's nobody in chat. Okay. All right, we'll just end it there. Thanks, everyone.